in life, you want to do things, and sometimes life gets in the way of that. This is going to be the case for this Inktober piece, but fear not, I have a solution. A very dear friend of mine gave me a gift that we're going to just be showing you in this video. So let's get to it. Just move this out the way. Okay. Then we're just going to put this on her. So these are the Stabilo 24x.88 packs of pens. You see you have all these colors, and I think, oh, they're not coded. Well, that's a bummer. But these are the Fineliners, and I believe they're water-based because on the back you will see, I don't know if you can see that. Oh, sorry. There is a water effect, which means that it's that's most likely to be water-based, which is fine, right? I wanted to test these out since she asked me to basically tell me how they are, and what's a better way of telling someone how something is by making a YouTube video out of it. I'm just gonna test these out, so let me just open this. Sticky. Okay, so you see, like, I think once you take these sticks out, let me see what happens. Just put that over here. So what I assume is you can bend this and it can go into here. Yep. Yeah. Bend these and it will go right in these slots. You know, if you want to keep these in this container, but I don't think I will. I don't know. So I'm just gonna open this, and you see it comes in a tray, and it looks like this. So these are the 24 colors. Got yellow, orange, red. I think that's red. I don't know. Red, kind of a magenta-ish, then peach, then fuchsia, purple. I'm guessing this is lavender, or it's lilac. Maybe it's lilac, I don't know. But yeah, you see all these colors, and they all have their own kind of color group. I think the most colors we get in per color group would have to be like the blues. I don't know, I don't think indigo, but this kind of looks blue. I don't know, we have to test it to make sure, but it looks blue to me at this moment. Okay, so I got my laptop here, and it has lists the colors. So since I have the wall of 24 colors, this all includes azul, black, brown, crimson,
dark blue, dark gray, dark orchid, green, ice green, leaf green, light gray, lilac, olive green, orange, pink, red, turquoise, ultramarine, violet, yellow, night blue, apricot, apple green, pine green, and light lilac.
So that's all the colors that are in. Hold on, let me just put it out here. So all the colors are in the set, and yeah, and it all comes. Well, I don't think it's. What's that? It's not organized like that, but yeah, that's exactly what the colors are in this set. So without further ado, we can just go ahead and line with these colors. Oh wait, you know what? Let's name this. That's what I like to do. Let's name things that I'm gonna do. My page, pick a ruler. There's not that many colors, so I think I'm gonna just have this page. So yeah, I'm really disappointed that I couldn't finish Inktober and first of all October, and second of all November, and now December. It's not even just because I don't want to make videos. I want to make videos, right? But there's a lot of things that delayed me. One of the things is that the piece that I just showed you earlier in this video, it's the second time I did this. The first time was a huge disaster. I try to use some, what is this called? Try to use this masking fluid to cover the stars, stuff like that. And for the most part, most of the stars were fine, but like a lot of them were not. They weren't sealed properly, and I think it had something to do with they used cheap brushes that kept getting clogged up by the masking fluid. And so I looked on this YouTube channel, and I saw this video that said, oh, this is really wonky. Oh well. This YouTube channel, and basically it said that if you wanted to put masking fluid on something and you didn't want your brush to be like destroyed, you should consider getting those silicone brushes that you use for molding things, and basically making brushes that help you with making clay figures, things like that. So I bought some, and it's gonna take a minute because I looked on eBay and it still said like it wasn't shipped yet, even though it's been like 3 days. Like, you couldn't ship it, my dude? I guess not, but yeah. So that's really disappointing. I should have thought better, but I didn't. Oh well. At least we got this, I guess. Because the clip was way too long, I decided just to summarize what basically what I was saying. So, when I was doing the swatches for each color, I noticed that the colors were really vibrant, and they didn't really bleed through the paper, which is really good, especially since these fine liners are used for planners and bullet journaling and things like that. That's really good. The one thing that I didn't really like was that there isn't an official color chart like on the website, so you have to go look through a third-party website to understand what is going on. But that's alright, because I ended up finding one and it should be fine. But yeah, that's basically summary. Okay, so I did all the colors. Some with the help of jet pens. Like, oh my gosh, thanks jet pens for making a color list, because it was really hard to figure out some of these colors. Like, you see this right here? This isn't black. This is all green. This is what it is, right? It doesn't look green at all. And then this black, like this is black. Like, look, you can put them side to side together. Like, they look very similar to one another. So now that all of the colors are lined up and organized, we're going to start by testing them out with Copics, Masterfile pen markers, Arteza Real brush pens, some erasers, pencils, and calligraphy inks. So we'll just do that right now. Alright, so for the testing area, I covered that I would be using Copics, Masterfile, Arteza Real brush, eraser, pencilware, calligraphy ink. So here's what I got. So for Copics, I noticed that they would bleed if it wasn't enough time for drying. So that can be an issue if you're just like someone who's like, oh, I just want to use Copics like right now, and so I just do that. It might be a problem. And they can bleed even if the marker area is still wet, so you should be cautious if you're gonna make like line art first and then use Copics. You might want to let it dry for maybe about 10 or 15 minutes. And if you're gonna use Copics first and then line art, also maybe wait 10 to 15 minutes. With Masterfile, the highlighter markers is, you know, with all these more cheaper brands of markers, they tend to have these highlighter pens, and that one in particular made it bleed like the worst. I wouldn't recommend highlighter brand alcohol based markers. They won't work. They'll make it bleed and feather. Also, would need more time for markers to dry and things like that. So I would recommend, again, like 10 to 15 minutes or even more, because these have like a lot of alcohol in it. So maybe 10 to 15, maybe 20 to 25. Artesian real brush markers, since they're water-based, I want to see how they would react with one another, since the Stabilos are also water-based. So they feather a little bit when it's not completely dry. They will feather when it's wet. It doesn't feather when it's like completely dry. When it's completely dry, it's fine. It's recommended. I would recommend you try to wait about 25 to 30 minutes before either applying the Arteza brush pens for second after the line art, or you're using the brush pens or you use the brush pens first and then you're gonna line it. So I would recommend that kind of duration. Eraser wear, there is no fading and there's no smears, so that's really good, because usually cheaper fine liners have a tendency of smearing, especially if the color is red. If it's like a red type of hue, whatever they put in that formula, it always tends to smear. But this is intended to smear, so that's good. The pencil wear doesn't fade, which is also very good. But the pink one kind of smeared a little bit. I don't know if that has something to do with time or whatever, but it did fade a little bit. Or it did smear, not fade, I'm sorry. The pencil didn't stay inside of the fine liner, so when you're drawing something with pencil and you erase it, it's not going to stay in there. Sometimes it does that when it's fine liners that are water-based. It tends to happen. Calligraphy inks, the darker colors don't feather, but the lighter colors do tend to feather, so you might want to be cautious about that. There will be some discoloration when it's with water, so I wouldn't I wouldn't really recommend this fine liner for calligraphy inks. So that's a summary for that. Okay, so we have one last test. I bought these Dong-A Hexagon Plus fine liners, I want to say about 3 months ago, maybe a little more. But these are also water-based fine liners, and I really like them. They're very colorful, and they're kind of thick, and you can get different kind of variants depending on how much pressure you put on them. And I see some similarities with these. So what I want to do is compare them by their vibrancy, their color similarities between one brand and another, the line variation, and basically how they cooperate with one another. So I'm just going to do like a time lapse and just see how this all goes out. So let's get started. So for Stabilo versus Dong-A, what I found with the vibrancy, the line variation, and whether or not they work well together is, for the vibrancy, Dong-A tends to be lighter than Stabilo in certain colors. For example, purple from Stabilo is lighter than in Dong-A, and the pink in Dong-A is lighter than in Stabilo. So that's something to keep in mind. Line variation, Dong-A does not have much different line variations besides sort of chunky and regular chunky. So I wouldn't suggest that for like smaller line art, but for Stabilo, it can get very thin. I would say about a 0.1 millimeter for for how thin it can be, and it can get as pretty thick, but not too thick. Whether or not these work well together, they both will blend into one another and make a different kind of color. I don't know if you heard that one. But yeah, they will both blend together pretty well. That once you blend them together, you will see that they become different colors, which I think is really cool. I didn't expect that to happen. So yeah, that's basically it for the summary, and then we can just go into the rest of the what I have for the drawing. So after I was done testing these pens out, I decided to make some thumbnails and designs for what I was gonna draw. And after looking through Twitter, I found a post that I replied to from Artie Hardy, and he made a character that was going to be the mother of GB Do-Over's character, Pecan. Her name is Monique. And I decided, you know what? I'm gonna draw them together because they're so cute, and I wanted to draw them before, but I totally forgot to. So I decided, why not do it today? So I decided to put them in these Versace like summer catalog 2018 type clothes that I found on Modern Models a few months back, and I thought that they would work really well considering both of them were like the same colors and things like that. So I decided to put them in that. What I wanted to do for the story of this piece was basically this. So Pecan wanted to make this kind of ice cream that she saw on this like Japanese cooking channel, and she thought that'd be really cool. And Monique was able to get most of the supplies, but not all of the supplies, and it made a huge mess. And so instead of trying to redo it again, they just gave up and decided to go out in town and go get some ice cream that wasn't the same ice cream, but it was nice enough and it was really cool and creative. And so they decided to do that and go to this like aesthetic park, and Pecan takes a selfie, and that is the piece. So I just wanted to do that to, you know, have a little fun and, you know, just show what I can do with these markers and so I can make a whole line art. I didn't have the speed paint but in this video, but I will have it in the next video, so stay tuned for that. And yeah, that's all I got for this video and this review. Overall, the Stabilo 25x88 point fineliners are great fineliners if you want to make you know, concept art, preliminary just make sketches, line art, bullet journaling, and things like that. You can totally use these. I wouldn't recommend these for like inks or things like that, but if you're gonna use them for like Copic markers or like different types of markers, you know, test it with the things that you have. But for the most part, it seems to be fine with markers and watercolor if you let it dry long enough. But yeah, I hope that you guys have a wonderful week. Please like and subscribe if you enjoyed this video, if you enjoy videos like this. And I'm Mo, and may your dreams sheep past stars.